Dear student, Assalamu alaikum. Welcome you all to our online session. Today's our topic is oral antidiabetic drug. In last class, we discussed about insulin, that is parenteral antidiabetic drug. You know the type of diabetes, that is type 1, insulin dependent diabetes mellitus, and type 2, non-insulin dependent diabetes mellitus. In type 1 diabetes mellitus, here absolute deficiency of insulin, though for that reason treatment is insulin. It is mandatory. In type 2 diabetes mellitus, there is relative deficiency of insulin or insulin not work properly. So here treatment is oral antidiabetic drug. If oral antidiabetic drug not act properly or not control the diabetes mellitus, then we add insulin. Let us we start today's topics, oral antidiabetic drug. Classification of oral antidiabetic drug: insulin secretagogues, insulin non-secretagogues. Insulin secretagogues are sulfonylureas and non-sulfonylureas. Sulfonylureas, first generation and second generation. First generation is tolbutamide, chlorpropamide, tolazamide. Second generation, glibenclamide, gliclazide, glipizide, glimepiride. Non-sulfonylureas secretagogues are meglitinides and ripaglinide. Non-secretagogues drug, that is insulin sensitizer, they increase the sensitivity of insulin. They do not cause release of insulin. Drug is biguanides, metformin and fenformin. Another group is thiazolidinediones, rosiglitazone and pioglitazone. Another group is alpha glucosidase inhibitors, acarbose and miglitol. And newer oral antidiabetic drug is incretin based therapies, dipeptidyl peptidase 4 inhibitors and GLP-1 analogs. They also called incretin mimetic drugs. This drug promotes secretion of insulin mediated by incretin, so thereby called incretin mimetic drug. Incretin based therapies are two groups: peptidyl peptidase 4 inhibitors and GLP-1 analogs, exenatide and liraglutide. Dipeptidyl peptidase 4 inhibitors are sitagliptin, linagliptin, saxagliptin. These two groups drugs work by mimicking the incretin hormones that body usually produce naturally to stimulate the release of insulin in response to glucose. We are showing the drugs in figure. Insulin secretagogues, that is sulfonylureas and meglitinides, which causes release of insulin from the pancreas, and dipeptidyl peptidase 4 inhibitors, they also cause secretion of insulin. Media is incretin. Insulin lowers the blood glucose level, and glucagon, it increase the blood glucose level, opposite action. Biguanides, insulin sensitizer, acts on the liver, thereby increase the sensitivity of insulin, and in liver it causes glycogenesis, inhibit gluconeogenesis, and glycogenolysis. And another group is thiazolidinediones, that is rosiglitazone and pioglitazone. They also increase the sensitivity of insulin and utilize the glucose in muscle and adipose tissue. Individual drug. First, we discuss sulfonylureas. It is the first oral antidiabetic drug that been discovered in 1942. In 1955, sulfonylureas drugs became widely available for the treatment of type 2 diabetes mellitus, that is non-insulin dependent diabetes mellitus. Mechanism of action of sulfonylureas. This drug is secretagogues. They release the insulin from the beta cell of the pancreas. They are showing the mechanism of action in figure. Sulfonylureas close the ATP sensitive potassium channel, thereby membrane depolarization and opening of the calcium channel. Calcium enters into the beta cell of the pancreas. It causes contraction of the vesicle where insulin storage. There cause exocytosis and release of insulin. Sulfonylureas is an oral administered drug, oil absorbed from the gut, and it is highly protein bound. It crosses the placental barrier, so it has teratogenic effect, metabolized in the liver and excreted through urine. Its action is long, duration of action 12 to 24 hours. Adverse effect of sulfonylureas: hypoglycemia. This is the important side effects. Increase appetite, thereby cause weight gain. Hypersensitivity reaction, because it also causes teratogenicity, because the drug crosses the placental barrier. Important drug is biguanides, oral antidiabetic drug, most common useful drug. It is the pioneer drug and first line therapy for type 2 diabetes mellitus. It used with insulin to increase the sensitivity of insulin. Mechanism of action: insulin sensitization in peripheral, utilization of glucose, thereby uptake increased, possibly through inhibition of mitochondrial respiration and activation of AMP regulated kinase in muscle. There is some evidence that it also impairs glucose absorption by the gut and inhibit hepatic gluconeogenesis. Indication of biguanides: obese person with NIDDM, that is obese type 2 diabetes mellitus, insulin dependent diabetes mellitus, when insulin given combination NIDDM with primary hyperlipidemia, secondary failure with sulfonylurea, combination with most other anti-diabetic drugs. Other than diabetes, it used polycystic ovarian syndrome. Metformin causes gastric irritation when we take orally, so it is given with food for better compliance of the patient. Starting dose is 500 milligram once or twice daily, gradually increase. Maximum dose is 1 gram 8 hourly. It excreted through kidneys. Contraindication of biguanides: its use is contraindicated in patients with impaired renal or hepatic function and in those who drink alcohol in excess, in whom the risk of lactic acidosis is significantly increased. Side effect: most important side effect is GIT side effects, thereby cause diarrhea, nausea, vomiting, GIT upset, flatulence, dyspepsia, heartburn, metallic taste. Sometimes patient cannot tolerate this due to this type of adverse effect. Serious adverse effect is lactic acidosis. Difference between sulfonylureas and metformin. This is important questions for written examination, also asked in viva examination. Sulfonylureas, it is secretagogue. Metformin is non-secretagogue. Metformin increase the sensitivity of insulin. Sulfonylureas acts by stimulating the beta cells. 30% beta cell must be intact. Sulfonylureas, highly protein bound. Sulfonylureas causes hypoglycemia. Metformin not causes hypoglycemia. It is euglycemic drug. Sulfonylureas causes increased appetite. Metformin causes decreased appetite. It causes anorexia. Sulfonylureas causes weight gain. Metformin causes weight loss. So it is used for reduction of weight in obese person. Sulfonylureas indicate non-obese person with type 2 diabetes mellitus, that is non-insulin dependent diabetes mellitus. Metformin indicated in obese person with type 2 diabetes mellitus. Sulfonylureas not causes lactic acidosis, but metformin causes lactic acidosis. Another drug is alpha glucosidase inhibitors. Alpha glucosidase inhibitors, two drugs, acarbose and miglitol. They inhibit the alpha glucosidase. Alpha glucosidase is the enzyme in the GIT. This increase the metabolism of carbohydrate and thereby increase absorption of glucose. When alpha glucosidase enzyme is inhibited by this drug, there is no metabolism of carbohydrates, thereby decrease the absorption of glucose from the GIT. Acarbose also inhibit the enzyme alpha amylase, thereby carbohydrate metabolism is decreased and decrease the absorption of glucose from the gut. Mechanism of action showing here. This is the enzyme alpha glucosidase. Alpha glucosidase inhibit, previously mentioned, inhibit the metabolism of carbohydrate, thereby glucose absorption is decreased. Alpha glucosidase inhibitor drug block the action of alpha glucosidase, thereby decrease the metabolism of carbohydrate and no absorption of glucose into the blood. Acarbose and miglitol are available and are taken with each meal. These drugs are used for the control of postprandial blood sugar, that is increase blood sugar immediately after taking meal. So it should be taken with each meal. Side effects of these drugs, alpha glucosidase inhibitors, is GIT adverse effect like as metformin drug. Now we discuss another important drug now available in the market, newer anti-diabetic drug, incretin based therapies. They are dipeptidyl peptidase 4 inhibitors. Dipeptidyl peptidase 4 inhibitor acts by inhibiting the enzyme. Normally, dipeptidyl peptidase 4 enzyme is responsible for the degradation of incretin hormones such as GLP that is glucagon-like peptide 1, the incretin affect the augmentation of insulin secretion when a glucose stimulus is given orally rather than intravenously and reflect the release of incretin from the gut. Here figure showing this, when glucose given in oral route, it stimulates the incretin and incretin causes release of insulin. When glucose given in intravenous, it not stimulate the incretin. There is no effect of insulin. The incretin hormones are primarily glucagon-like peptide 1 and gastric inhibitory polypeptide, that is GIP, which act to potentiate insulin secretion. These are rapidly broken down by the peptidase 4 enzyme. Previously, I mentioned this. The incretin effect is diminished in type 2 diabetes mellitus. And this has stimulated the development of two incretin therapy, that is DPP4 inhibitors and GLP-1 receptor agonist. DPP4, that is dipeptidyl peptidase 4 inhibitors, prevent breakdown of GLP and GIP, thereby increase the concentration of GLP and GIP. They stimulate the pancreas for the release of insulin. DPP4 inhibitor drugs are well tolerated and are weight neutral. The GLP-1 receptor agonists have a similar structure to GLP-1 but have been modified to resist breakdown by dipeptidyl peptidase 4, that is DPP4 enzyme. These drugs are not orally active, have to be given by injection in subcutaneous route. All incretin mimetic drugs having increased risk of pancreatitis. This is the bad side. They causes pancreatitis. Although this risk is small, between 1 and 10 cases per 1000 patients treated. Insulin secretagogues, sulfonylureas, we know they causes hypoglycemia. Incretin therapies, they also causes release of insulin, but they do not cause hypoglycemia. Because these group drugs promote insulin secretion when there is glucose triggered for insulin secretion. Thus, when the blood glucose is normal, the insulin secretion is not augmented, and so these agents do not cause hypoglycemia. Newer drug is another sodium and glucose transporter 2 inhibitors. The sodium and glucose transporter 2 inhibitors dapagliflozin for use in 2012. Normally, glucose is filtered freely in the renal glomeruli and reabsorbed in the proximal tubules. SGLT2, that is sodium and glucose transporter 2, involved in reabsorption of glucose. SGLT2 inhibitors block the reabsorption of glucose from renal tubules, thereby 25% glucose passes through urine. Normally, glucose filtered through glomerulus entered into the tubules. SGLT2, which causes reabsorption of glucose from the tubule, and normally no glucose in the urine. When SGLT2 is inhibited, thereby decrease the absorption of glucose, thereby 25% glucose excreted through urine, thereby it causes glycosuria. This is the overall oral anti-diabetic drug. Thank you all. Allah Hafiz.